Hello Guardians, this is part 2 of the Solstice armor upgrade path. So you've got the blue armor, you want to make it purple, what do we do? So again, we've got some similar things that each class is going to need to do. There are variations of subclasses you need to use, and a couple clarifications that need to be made. So once you get done with your green armor, you'll come up here, you'll meditate at the statue actually, and then you'll have your blue armor completed. You'll open it up and look at the requirements. So what we're going to do is take a second, go through each of these, and again, I've done a little bit on each one just to clarify a couple pieces, and hopefully this helps all of you out as you progress in your journey towards the Majestic armor, which will be your legendary, which is what you want to unlock for Shadowkeep, which has been delayed, which I'm sure some of you guys have seen that, but I've got a video up about that. So on October 1st, when you log into Shadowkeep the first time, if you have a full legendary set just acquired for a character, you'll be able to pick that up on your character in Shadowkeep, and it will be Armor 2.0 official, which is what most people are going to be looking for. So you have that first set of Armor 2.0 working with the new systems that it's got. Still don't know everything about it, but that's what we're going for. So let's take a look at all these armor pieces like we did in the last one and go through each one piece by piece so we know everything that we need to do. So, unlike the green armor, we don't get quite any gimmies on this one, but we've got a lot of stuff to do. Now, every character is going to have certain things, and then as we go through each of these pieces, we're going to go through a little variations that we're going to have to do. I'm going to go through and use my Titan as an example. As you guys can see on screen, these are the Titan requirements. Most all of these will be the same general things that you have to do. The only difference is typically going to be the subclass that you need to use while doing a certain activity. So, we know everyone is going to need to do 10 Gambit matches. However you want to do them. Regular Gambit, Gambit Prime. Gambit Prime worked in the previous set, so it should work in this one as well. And again, they're completions, they are not victories. You're going to need to pick up 1,500 orbs. Some of the stuff is going to take you a while, so again, that one should not be that difficult. Just make sure, as the orbs go away fairly quickly, that you need to be up in the fight. So, don't use like a sniper and a scout rifle and then try and go run up there. Get a little more in the mix. Use things like if you've got Recluse or a submachine gun or a shotgun and hand cannons. Get a little more up in the mix, whatever activity you're doing, so you're able to pick up those orbs more frequently. Then for the Titan, you're going to need to be able to defeat 75 Guardians. Certain classes are going to be different on the type that you need, but you're going to need to defeat 75 Guardians. 75 Guardians in Gambit is going to be a little harder. If you are awesome at invasions, you may be able to do that, but most, I would say on average, probably aren't going to, so you might need to spend a little time in Crucible and find some loadouts that fit. We'll discuss those when we get there. Everyone's going to need to do 10 heroic public events. These do have to be heroic. It doesn't matter where. European Dead Zone and Nessus typically have the best rotations of public events where you can just kind of keep bouncing between ones that are about to go up, but they all are heroic, so you need to make sure you turn all of those heroic. You need to do 5 challenges. These are weekly, these are daily. Basically, they're your milestones on your director, and that should hopefully clarify what you guys are going for. So a daily challenge counted for the one that you guys can see here. Weekly challenge will work as well, so as you're going through, we have even longer to do this now, so you've got some time. EAZ mini-bosses. So you're going to need to defeat 100 mini-bosses. On average, the groups that I get into, it's about 7 or 8, so you're probably going to need to do about 12 runs in there for sure. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on how efficient you are at killing bosses. But it is 100 mini-bosses, not the major bosses in the end, the mini ones that you're trying to get so you have more chests together. Within the strike playlist, you are going to need kills. Now, this little icon was a little less specific on the last one, but the kills that you need to match the subclass of, or not the subclass, but the element of the day. That was one of the things that threw me for a loop, and I was not too thrilled to learn about that one. So, it does have to match the subclass of the day, and that is an important distinction, because first time I did this, I wasn't doing that, and you need to make sure and match it of the day. It's not just, you know, strike playlist kills. It's strike playlist kills that match the subclass of the day. The daily elemental bonus, whatever you call it. So, Arc, Solar, or Void. Just make sure you have that subclass equipped that matches the elements of the day, and then you should be good. So, again, to clarify, strike playlist, defeat enemies using the daily elemental bonus subclass. So if it's an Arc day, use an Arc subclass. So, just wanted to clarify that one because first time I did that one, it didn't work. And then I went through and figured it out. EAZ chests looted. So European Aerial Zone, you're going to need to actually run around and loot those chests. You're going to be doing about 12 runs or so, maybe more, if it takes you a little longer to find these chests. Depends on how many mini-bosses you kill. I don't know if there's a specific place that the chests actually, like, spawn. I don't know if they're tied to the bosses you kill. There's a couple general ones in the middle. If you always want to make sure and get those, there's the major one that spawns. There's a couple in the center, and there's a couple raised ones up. I'll maybe do a video when I get back over like chest locations that I've kind of seen, but that would probably take me getting a group together. You're going to need to kill Cabal, Fallen, or Hive, depending on your class. You're going to need to kill 300 of them. That for sure is for everybody. 50 bounties. Now, these can be any bounties. They can be weekly bounties from Petra. They can be daily bounties from any planet, from Venus, from Mars, from Earth. Like, sorry, not Venus, old game. But basically, they can be any bounty. Crucible, Vanguard, Petra. You can do 801. You can do Gambit bounties. You probably won't finish 50 in a day unless you are just grinding like crazy. So find the ones that are easy for you. Some are easier than others. You know, getting grenade kills in Crucible is specific, but, you know, shooting 10 Guardians, that one's pretty simple. You've got plenty of time, so spread those out. And if you know there's certain bounties that work and you're working on this on multiple characters, try and get your characters all up to this spot. So you know, it's like, hey, I need to go play Crucible on 3 characters. You can get 10 kills in the match, knock out a bounty. At least you know you've got it on all of them. So that is going to be one of those. The bounties is probably going to be time consuming. There's a lot of bounties out in the world, but if you're going for like all of this stuff, it's going to be kind of tough to do everything all at once. Playlist strikes certain type of kills, or certain type of orbs, I should say. So in the Vanguard playlist, I, as a Titan, need to get Void orbs. The other 2 classes vary, and again, I'll cover that when we get to the end. But you need to pick up, and your best way to pick up the amount of orbs that you're going for is to run the subclass that matches the orbs that you need. So for a Titan example, I'm going to be running a Void subclass, as many Void weapons as possible. Now, this one is very specific to Titans. There are a couple other ones when it comes to other classes. The Titan one specifically, it is the class. It's one of your ability final blows. I think the Warlock is super. I think the Hunter is grenades, and then the Titan is melees. When it comes to the melees, you can do a couple of things. You can equip a solar sword with 0 ammo and go smack things in the face. So you can literally just run around Trossland, have no heavy ammo, smack things around, and this works. Another place that you can do this is in the forges. So pick a forge. Honestly, the kind of level ground, like the forges that I would probably recommend, likely would be either Berguzia or Izanagi. So basically, because it depends on the wave. Like the first wave in the Volunder Forge is all fallen, and you can basically pick up one of the orbs. You don't have to turn it in. You can hold it the entire match and just beat people up with the orb. That counts for melee kills. So that is a crucial thing that will help speed that process along. Either a sword without ammo, or go into a forge and those little batteries that you would normally throw into the middle, hold onto it, and melee people. It hits for solar and apparently counts for melees. So that is a way to continue to get solar final blows as melees. If you're doing a grenade as a hunter or super as a warlock, the super, what I would recommend is go teleport to as many rally flags as you can. It's the best way to get a super up frequently, and that's going to help speed that process a little bit. You can do this in Crucible, so if Mayhem comes up during this process, go to town, play Mayhem, you'll probably knock all that stuff out. For the Hunter and grenade kills, because I think, if I got to clarify, that it is actually going to be Void grenade kills, your best bet for you is likely to be basically the fact that what you need to do is kind of equip a grenade that's going to be going for groups and go into an activity that has lots of groups coming at you. If you can go into Whisper of the Worm and do the jumping puzzle and get to the kind of grassy area, go underneath. There's a lot of enemies under there. I don't know if they count, but I'll need to clarify that one. You know, if somebody can test that one, that'd be good. But honestly, going into lost sectors, trying to group up a lot of enemies, using grenades that you can, again, hitting rally flags to reload your enemies, which is good. If you've got any mods that are already on armor, help that stuff go faster. Another option that you could do for grenades would be to load up like a Void Nightfall, lower the modifier very low down, put Grenadier on and Void. Something like This Week in Arms Dealer is a good thing for that because there's not too much Void that comes at you. Your grenades will come up more frequently, and just use them as much as possible. Certain grenades are going to be better depending on what you've got, but anything that's going to get a group, either the Void Wall or the Vortex, are probably your best choices, so you can get multiple kills at the same time. So way to control that buff would be good. Solar melees, I was going to say the same thing. You could put Brawler on for a Nightfall and go solar, but honestly, I wouldn't do that because the easier method is going to be the Solar Sword without ammo. You need to be 0, so empty your ammo first, or the Void Forge batteries. That's a good way to do it as well. So those are nice options for you guys to use for those 3. You've got 25 patrols on IO. Now when it comes to patrols, there are 2 patrols that you basically want to consider. One, it looks like a target, and you're basically going to shoot enemies. Kill a certain number and you're good. It's quick, it's painless, it's easy. The other one that I personally like to do is the one that kind of looks like a compass or a clock, and basically you're going to drive to a location and stand there. Those are the 2 that I like to do. The triangle one where you shoot enemies and gather them, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you're on a planet where you're trying to gather enemies and there's only like 2 in a certain zone and you're like, well crap, this is annoying. So what I would do is go to IO and literally bounce between the 3 landing zones, see if any of the patrols match. The target one, it literally looks like, you know, kind of a reticle icon. That's just kill a certain number of enemies. And then the circular one with kind of a line looks like a compass. That's just going to be drive to another zone and stand on a certain point. Usually the zones are pretty connected. IO is actually not too big, so that works. If you exhaust all, if you go between the 3 zones, like you check the landing zone, okay, warp to the next one, warp to the next one. If you've done all 3, go back to orbit and then reload back down again. That's the way I'm going to do that one because those are the quickest bounties I know, or patrols that I know to do. And anytime I have to do patrols, those are the ones I do. Because sometimes you'll kill the enemies in one section. You've got another one there that says, hey, drive to another section. You'll drive over there and wait. As soon as that one's done, you might have another bounty that you can pick up. So it's a nice rotation. And then if you've hit all 3 zones, go back to orbit, reset the planet, go back down, do it again. EAZ Elemental Orbs. You need 300. Now, it doesn't specifically say too much with regards to like the orbs that you need. You just need to pick up 300 orbs within the European Aerial Zone. So that's one of those things that's not quite as crazy, but it is one of those that you do need to just make sure and get them. Not as bad, which is nice. So on that one, it's basically just collect any element. It doesn't have to be solar, arc, void, doesn't matter. And then I need to kill enemy, or I just need to solar weapon final blows. That's for Titan. There's different options as well. But you need weapon final blows of a certain type, so whether solar, arc, or void, and you just need to get the final blow. So killing enemies with specific weapons. That's it. If I have solar final blows and I go with like, you know, a solar submachine gun and a solar and then a solar heavy machine gun, I'm just going to be using those as much as possible until that's done. Now, what you want to try and do is synergize some of these activities as much as possible. So say I'm doing patrols. Okay, I'm going to be running around on a planet. Okay, then I can work on my solar final blows there because I don't have a specific like requirement for, you know, arc orbs in strikes or something like that. So if you're doing the patrols, that's a nice time to knock out some of your weapon final blows, gather some orbs, things like that. If you're going into strikes and you need, unfortunately, like see the Titan, I need void orbs, but I need solar final blows. Solar final blows I'll probably do separately. In the strikes, just load up every void thing that you can. Void weapon, void subclass, get those things to drop so you are done with strikes as quick as possible. We've already spent our time in strikes. The only activity we actually have to do a lot of is mostly going to be the gambit matches. That's the specific one we have to do. We already did our 10 strikes and other things like that. Now when it comes to the strike playlist, matching the element of the day, my advice, since I need void orbs, as I'm recording this on Thursday, it is the void day. So this would be a good day for me to get void orbs from playlist strikes and also get strike playlist kills with the subclass equipped that matches the element of the day. So void across the board for the element of the day, knocking out my strike playlist kills and my orbs, 2 birds with 1 stone. If you do strikes that have fallen in them, bonus. If you don't, Trossland is a pretty easy one, or go do some lost sectors, that's pretty good. And then when it comes to the European Aerial Zone, that one is just going to take some time more than anything. Challenges, dailies are going to be easier, so if you've got dailies coming up on multiple characters, try and hit that one Crucible match, that one Gambit match, the one strike, the story missions. Like, some of those are easier than others. Nightfall's not going to be happening for everybody. If you just need to complete a Nightfall, that's usually easier than getting the 100k. But if you do a 100k Nightfall with a couple buddies, that's probably 2 challenges right there. So it depends on if you're running with a group or not. Overall, the grind is still, it's longer for the rare to legendary set, but it is still a doable grind, and that's the key. None of this is too crazy out of the question. The Masterworks are going to get interesting when we get up there, but I'll work on covering that when I get back, because I am out of town over the weekend, so no Zur. Last Word is going to be crazy. I'm probably not going to get that one up till who knows when, so all that stuff will come later. But hopefully this video is helpful to all of you. I went through and tested each one of the segments just to see what was going to actually work best and clarified a couple things to make sure everything was functioning properly. and that basically covers everything for the blue armor. So none of it is overly like killer difficult. Again, just more time-consuming pieces. Make sure you don't forget about bounties, so making sure you're picking up those and working on them if you're going to certain planets, like the IO bounties if you're doing patrols. Definitely knock those things out. Do a few patrols a day, do a few bounties on that planet. That's some easy ones. You're going to do some strikes, get the Vanguard bounties. You're going to play a little Crucible, get those bounties. You're going to play some Gambit. You've got 10 matches. Spread those out, do some daily bounties, knock those out in there. The bounties is probably going to be one of the slower pieces I can imagine, because 50 bounties is not very specific, and probably one of the things that takes a little bit longer. Heroic public events. Say you're like, hey, I need to do public events. Well, I haven't done, you know, the European Dead Zone. I can go talk to Devrim, get a few bounties from him, knock out a couple public events and bounties. Okay, I finished my bounties. Let me go to Titan, get Sloan's bounties, then see if I can find some public events there. Try and put things together that make sense. Your challenges, just, you know, knock out your dailies, your weeklies, that'll go fairly quick. The mini bosses, anything in a European aerial zone is mostly just time in there more than anything else. Looting chests, defeating mini bosses, that's pretty straightforward. So I know this is kind of a long-winded video, but I wanted to cover all the pieces for this for you guys and just any tips that I had seen. Hopefully you find this beneficial, and if you do, share it with a friend if they like it as well. If you enjoyed the video, likes are always appreciated. If you got a comment for tips, any opinions, stuff to speed this along, drop those down below in the comment section. I always try and, you know, that's always open to help everybody get a little bit more information, because I don't claim to know it all. But if you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitch, on Twitter. It's Ebontis on both of those. Right here on YouTube. If you haven't subbed yet, please do so if you enjoy the content, because I'll keep more of it coming to you, and it's a nice way to support the channel. And of course, if you, you know, already subscribed or haven't yet, think about hitting the alert bell next to subscribe. That'll actually help keep my videos coming to your feed a little more and help with that YouTube algorithm, let you get my content. So thank you all for the support. Hopefully you enjoy your weekend. I am out of town this weekend, so got these videos up recorded before, so hopefully they're helpful while I'm gone. Have a great weekend, and we've got some time before Shadowkeep. We've got a lot of grinding to do. If you're going for all 3 characters, I wish you the best of luck. Enjoy, and I'll see you soon.